Hey everybody, today what I wanted to go through is what you see on the screen. Why do we multiply by the reciprocal? So if you happen to get into a case where we're dividing fractions, I'm hoping that we're pretty comfortable to say that we would flip the divisor or the second fraction, that is get the reciprocal, and multiply. That's not really the focus of this video. So if you understand that and you're good with working with that, outstanding. What I want to talk about is, but why? Why do we do that? So I've often had conversations with other teachers, with students, with people who've been working with this for a really long time. But why do we do that? And I get a variety of answers that most normally come back to, well, because we do, or I don't know. So that's where I want to spend our time on this quick video. Why do we multiply by the reciprocal? Okay, here we go. So I think the easiest way to talk about why is to give an example and a concrete one. So I like to talk about money. I think money can become a universal thing for a lot of people. I guess that's redundant, universal in a lot of people. But I think it can be something that we can all kind of have a sense of, a better sense of. So if I asked you to picture $6 sitting at the table right in front of you. Okay, there's $6 in your pocket, but like $6, you can see it sitting right in front of you. Look at it, picture what $6 looks like. Do you have that? Okay, do we have that amount? Now what I want you to do is I want you to divide that into groups of 3/4. Okay, I want you to take your $6, break it up into groups of 3/4. You'll notice that's the problem I asked you originally. Okay, for a lot of us, I just caused you a problem because I'm going to bet and say that I would have a bunch of people that would picture that as a $5 bill plus maybe a $1, like a loonie. We're in Canada, so a loonie, or another $1 bill. Perhaps you take a look at it, and in Canada, you would be looking at it as 3 toonies. Maybe we looked at it as a loonie, but 6 of them, 6 $1 bills. I don't know how you want to view it. But my guess is the way we would normally think about it is not going to be nice and easy to break up into groups of 3/4. So the problem becomes you have to change your units. So if I'm going to take that $6 and I'm going to come back to the question I asked, if I ask you to take that $6 and you now have to break it up into groups of 3/4, then you really wish that you had pictured $6 as quarters. So if I asked, well, how many quarters is $6? And hopefully we would say 24. Okay, so now if I said, picture $6. Okay, picture 24 quarters. And what I want you to do is put them in groups of 3. How many groups do you have? Well, I think pretty quickly we would be good to come in on an answer of 8. Okay. So what happened? Well, when I asked you to take $6 and put it into groups of 3/4, break it up into groups of 3/4, what you first had to do, or wanted to do, I should say, is convert your units. So multiply it by 4. Remember, within our fraction, that denominator is the size of the bit. That's all I'm talking about. It's part of 1. It's the size of the bit. So what you wanted to do was convert units, change the sign of the bit. Now that you've changed the size of the bit, the top now wanted you to figure out how many of those. Those are my number of bits. So now that I have the right size of bit, I now need to divide it into the correct number. And I want you to take a look at that orange. And you will notice that that orange is the same thing as me saying, take 6, multiply it by 4, divide it by 3. Look, what I did to divide my fractions was I went through and I flipped my second fraction, I got my reciprocal, and I changed it to multiply. That really, when we go through and we flip and multiply, we multiply by the reciprocal, what we're actually doing is changing the units and then breaking it up into that group. Okay, I'm hoping that that just gives you a little bit of meaning then as to why do we flip and multiply? Why do we multiply by a reciprocal when we decide to divide fractions? Okay, best of luck with all your practice.